I saw her on the yacht. Then my friends started dying. Presented by Absolutely Haunted. Hello. Welcome. Hope you enjoy the video.
Be careful of who you hurt. The storm was over. Not the kind that flashes in the sky and roars like a freight train. No, that kind of storm wasn't near, and it was still calm over Lake Michigan. I'm talking about the other kind. The kind that shreds your understanding of the world and leaves you clutching at the frayed ends of your sanity. That kind of storm has already come and gone for me, and I wasn't ever going to be the same. It started on an ordinary Wednesday evening. I dragged myself home from work, popped the tab on a lukewarm beer, and was zoning out in my old recliner watching some rerun I didn't care about. One of those shows that feels like they're melting your brain by design. That's when my phone buzzed. Kincaid, the screen read. My buddy. "Hey man," he said. I always felt like I could sense the grin in his voice. "What you got going on this weekend?" I thought I might hit the farmer's market in Riverside. Maybe grab some kettle corn. A pause. Then, "What? Tell me you're not serious." His voice was full of disbelief. I am. "You need help," he laughed. "Forget that. Picture this. Lake Michigan. 66-foot yacht. A little fishing, a little cruising, a little boozing. You, me, and my friend Barry. We board Saturday morning, back Sunday night. Did you hit the lottery and forget to tell me?" He snorted. "It ain't my boat. Barry's dad owns it. Trust Fund City, bro. You in or not?" I hesitated for maybe 20 seconds because something about the idea of going with them twisted in my gut like a worm on a hook. Still, I said, "Screw it. I'm in!" Kincaid whooped, promised to text the details, and hung up. I sat there with the dial tone humming in my ear and this rising buzz of dread crawling up my spine like a centipede. I don't usually get spooked, but that feeling, it sank deep inside me. Sticky. Wrong. I shook it off and told myself I was being overdramatic. Still, I couldn't sleep that night. Friday night, I had to talk myself down as something had me holding that phone up to my ear and ready to make an excuse to get out of it. But I pushed past my unease and got myself packed for the trip. I knew I would regret not going if I let my anxiety take over. Saturday morning. The air was already a warm gust, the kind that feels hot, sticky, like it could suffocate you if you breathe too deep. I was sitting on a busted crate at the dock, watching the large yacht rise and dip with the swell coming off the lake when a black Mercedes glided up a whisper of wind in the dry summer air. It purred to a stop. Out stepped a man straight out of a cologne commercial. Tall, blonde curls, designer sunglasses. Every piece of clothing screamed money. Diamond-studded watch flashed like a camera, and the smirk, that cocky, slow, effortless kind that said, "I own the world and everyone in it. The future belongs to me. This must be Barry." Kincaid had gushed about him like a teenage girl, and now I saw why. The guy looked like he hadn't had a bad day in his entire life. Still, there was something else, something slightly off-putting about him. I just couldn't quite nail it down. I could sense that there was a deep current of darkness running under all that golden polish and scent of money. It wasn't what he said. He acted friendly enough. It was how he moved, like a lion in a glass cage. A lion who knew he owned everything in his world and nothing would be withheld from him. "Hey," he said casually, holding out his hand. I felt the quick appraisal as he dropped his eyes to my feet and let them rise up to my face. "You Cliff?" I nodded. We shook. "Where's Kincaid?" he asked. "Not here yet." Barry grinned. "Figures. Come on aboard. It's going to be a hell of a weekend." Well, I thought I must have passed the test and was going to be accepted. I followed his steps. Within the hour, Kincaid arrived, loud, smiling, slapping backs, and we set out onto the lake. The sun danced on the water. The beer flowed. Fish were caught. Stories were swapped, and the world seemed simple. If I'm being honest, I started to like Barry. Maybe I had judged him wrong. The way he talked, the way he listened, even if he was a rich kid with too many toys, he had charm and a way of making you feel like you and what you had to say was important to him. Then night fell, and hell followed. I found out that even snakes have charm. I'd gone below deck to use the bathroom, a little worse for wear, my head groggy from drink and sun. But when I stepped back into the hallway, I stopped cold. Standing near the bedroom door was a girl, tall, long blonde hair dripping over her shoulders like seaweed. She wore a white bikini. Her skin was pale as chalk. And her eyes, God, her eyes, locked on mine like she was staring through me into something buried deep in my soul. "Where did you come from?" I asked. I hadn't realized there was anyone else on board. Was she Barry's girlfriend? Had she been in the bedroom the whole time? I thought. She didn't answer. Just turned, opened the bedroom door, and slipped inside, closing the door behind her. I rushed after her, bursting through the door, but the room was empty. No other way out of the room except through the door. The windows were portholes. Even that thin girl could not fit through them. There was nothing to see. She was just gone. Back on deck, I blurted out, "Who's the girl?" Kincaid and Barry both froze. Then they burst out laughing. "You're cut off," Barry said, grinning. Kincaid raised his beer. "You been drinking sea foam or something? There is no girl on board." "No, listen," I insisted. "She was down there, standing in the hall outside the bedroom door. White bikini. Long blonde hair, green eyes." Kincaid's face changed like a flipped coin, smile gone, eyes hard. "What the hell, Barry?" he said. "I told you. I warned you." "Shut up," Barry snapped, panic flickering in his voice. He turned to me. "You're drunk, drop it." But his eyes were lying. They were filled with something raw, something that knew exactly what I'd seen, and I had no doubt they both knew who she was. Kincaid stormed below deck. Barry cursed and followed, shooting me one last glare that said, "Stay out of it and shut up." But it was too late for that. I sat alone on the deck, the lake now a black void under a starless sky. The yacht rocked gently, my stomach churned. That same dread from earlier had returned full force, tightening around my ribs like a vice. Then I heard her. A husky voice behind me, soft and cracked, like broken glass under velvet. She sounded like she couldn't get enough air.
"Who are you?"
I turned. She was back. Standing near the steps, eyes dark green in the moonlight. "I could ask you the same," I said. "You've got everyone freaked out." She tilted her head.
"Them."
She whispered.
"Yeah, I guess I do. What you kill shouldn't come back."
A chill surged through me, icy and bone deep. "What do you mean, kill?" She stepped closer, studying me like I was an exhibit. She ignored my question and carried on, eyeing me from head to toe.
"You don't belong here.
She said.
You're not like them."
She turned her back to me and headed towards the stairs. I must be seeing things. I must have drunk too much, as I swear. In the moonlight, she was transparent. I could see the stairs she was advancing on through her. Shocked, I stood to follow, dizzy, off balance. She glanced back. She raised her hand in a sweeping gesture, dismissive, final. My knees buckled. Darkness slammed into me like a hammer, and I was gone. What came next was the dream. No, not a dream. It was a vision, a memory, but not one of my own. I was there, on the boat, but not really. Everything shimmered with something like heat distortion. Barry and Kincaid were younger, dressed differently. The girl was with them, laughing at first, then crying. They kept filling her glass. She got slower, quieter. The next scene was gruesome, one I can barely talk about. Bruises, blood, silence. They hurt her. Bad. They hurt her permanently. In the vision, her eyes snapped open. Gone were the greens, replaced by milky, sightless whites. She screamed and screamed and screamed. She turned to me. "Look what they did," she said, her voice anguished and echoing. "They have to pay." I woke to screaming, my own, but when mine stopped, I realized that other people were screaming. It was coming from somewhere close, real, panicked, the kind an animal caught in a trap makes. The screaming continued. Below deck. It was coming from below deck. I ran to the hatch. Smoke poured up. Fire, thick and choking. Through the flames, I saw her. She was riding Kincaid's back, clawing at his face, her nails buried in his eyes. He shrieked and thrashed. She took great joy in his suffering. It was written all over her face. She was feeling glee. You could see it in the sightless whites, all green having escaped her dead eyes. Barry lay slumped at the table already, blood pooling beneath his jaw, his neck torn open like he'd been mauled by a bear. I could tell it was already too late for him. Kincaid dropped to the floor, his face slack, his life gone. Her eyes rose to my own. I watched in horror as she placed a bloody finger in her mouth and sucked it clear of the red substance. A moaned giggle escaped her throat. I ran. I didn't look back. I got the dinghy untied and launched it blind into the dark water. I climbed in, and from a distance I watched the yacht burn and sink. Then it was quiet. Too quiet. That's when I heard the sound, soft, delicate. A ripple. The top of her head, then the eyes, returned to their original green, rose from the water. Only her eyes and the top of her head ever broke the surface. Green, calm, watching. Weirdly enough, those eyes looked content now, but they were locked on me. I froze. My voice trembled. "If you're here to kill me, just do it quick," I whispered. "I didn't hurt you. I swear. But if you have to do it, please don't make it hurt." I stared at her, heart slamming against my ribs. "Let me go," I said. "I want to live." She didn't speak, but her green eyes welled with tears. She watched me for a long, soul-rattling moment. Then she sank, silently, gone. I heard a voice come from somewhere that said,
So did I.
They found me hours later. A fishing boat. I lied to the authorities. Told them I'd passed out. Said I woke to fire, barely escaped. Didn't mention the girl, or the screams, or the eyes. They wouldn't believe me anyway. But you do. Don't you? I know what I saw. I know what they did. And I know this. Be careful who you hurt. Because the dead don't forget. And some of them come back.
Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, how about checking out another one of our videos? Or maybe even a like, comment, or if you really liked it, a subscribe. Even if you can't, you're still awesome for watching this video. Thanks again.